Good morning. How you doing, man?
Doing all right. You got me after my midday nap, and we are in
Oh,
good.
you're fresh. You're good to go.
Come on. I mean, what time does an actor get up after? I mean, first of all, what time do you go to bed? Most of your performances start at 7:30. What time in the morning do you go to bed?
Well, I got to tell you, I'm very much a nightlife guy back in New York. That's where I do a lot of my work there. So I'm used to a bedtime of like 2, 3 a.m. and it's hard to break yourself of that. But on tour, I try and be in bed by 1 o'clock, and sometimes I hold myself to that, and sometimes I show myself grace.
I mean, my alarm goes off to go to the radio show at 3:30 in the morning. So
That's deranged to me. But I salute you and your courage and sacrifice.
I'll never get used to it. I mean, I don't think, I can't say on the air the word that I use every single morning when that alarm goes off. But
Hello.
that's not the word. Let's go there.
Yay.
Abe, we are excited because next Tuesday through Sunday at the Providence Performing Arts Center, right down Route 146, we have got the national tour of Beetlejuice. It was a huge hit on Broadway. This is the first national tour. And what role do you play in Beetlejuice the musical?
I play the role of Otho, Delia's guru, who shows up and wreaks a certain amount of havoc in the second act, which is a delight to perform.
Now, you were in the original Broadway performance of,
that's right.
Beetlejuice. And when you see these shows on national tour, it is the show that you get on Broadway. So many actors and actresses have told me this over the years. The theater stages that we have at this Providence Performing Arts Center and in Worcester, we are so blessed to have these amazing stages. And you're able to
Well, that's been one of the joys of going from town to town, honestly, is discovering all of these amazing theaters. Some of them are very new complexes and very high tech, and some of them, I mean, we did a theater that was like 3,000 seats and had a pipe organ and all this beautiful Gilded Age decoration and filigree. So I mean, it's one of the great privileges of this job is to get to see all of these beautiful theaters. And I mean, we're all really excited for Providence. I know I am.
Abe, in addition to Broadway, you've done some movie acting. You have done some voice acting.
Yes, lots of voice acting.
Lots of voice acting, including Pokemon.
Yes, which is always of the greatest interest to my nieces, my nephews, the children of all my friends. They're very excited.
So is that what they brag about? This is Uncle Abe. He does the voice of Pokemon.
Literally, yes. Literally, that's my in. It buys me a lot of good faith and credit from the kids. They're willing to be patient with me for a moment because they know I've done that.
What does that entail? Does it entail going into a room with a script and not knowing the context and not seeing the other people and just
well, I mean, most cartoon voiceover is done solo. It's you in a booth with the director. And one of the director's jobs is to give you a certain amount of context for the scene. And when you're playing a human character, it's actually rather easy. But then there's times when you're playing a Pokemon and they really only say their name. And so you kind of have to gather some context clues. And sometimes the director will be like, well, in this scene, they're sad, or they're very hungry. And you have to be like, all right, got it. You kind of you have to figure out, how do I infuse emotion and context with this character who's basically a monster who can only say their own name. That's awesome. Kind of one of the fun challenges.
A sad, hungry monster. I might be a Pokemon.
Hey, man.
Who knew?
Get yourself some lunch after this interview, my God. Nobody needs that level of sad and angry.
Go for some matzo ball soup about now. That's who I am.
Same. Hardcore.
I'm a Jew from Long Island. Abe Goldfarb. You're obviously Irish. Where are you from?
I'm from Long Island, actually.
Massapequa.
Port Washington, up on the North Shore.
Very nice. And here we are. I'm in Worcester now, and you're going to be coming to the Providence Performing Arts Center for a week. Get out and enjoy the city of Providence. We love going in early and getting a meal. There's some great restaurants, some great architecture.
All right, hold up. Give me 3 restaurants that I gotta hit. in that week.
You know,
You're being interviewed. So what are the three?
well,
three restaurants.
You want to go to Federal Hill, and then just from there, it's like the restaurant row. It's like the Italian section, but now they've opened up sushi restaurants there. And Federal Hill, I've just given you 30 restaurants.
Federal Hill. I'll hit it up, no doubt. Very excited.
Yeah, Google that as soon as we're done here. You got some time.
I will.
Tell. So the show Beetlejuice, how true is it to the movie that we all grew up loving?
It's true. It's very true to the spirit of the film, but it's kind of a hybrid of the movie and the Saturday morning cartoon. I've had a lot of friends come and see the show, and they're like, wow, the writers of this have watched like every episode of the cartoon, because there's a lot of liberties taken with the material. It's not just the movie on stage. And as far as the creative team goes, that would have been the easiest layup in show business history. Just take the movie everyone loves, throw some songs in it, plant it on stage. But what this show does is it takes the film as a jumping off point. In the show, it's very much the story of Beetlejuice and Lydia, as opposed to the story of the Maitlands. The Maitlands are what helps kick the story off, and they're a very important emotional presence. But the central relationship in the show is Beetlejuice and Lydia, Beetlejuice being the ultimate con man, and Lydia turning out to be very canny herself, having a few unexpected tricks up her sleeve. It's a real frenemy relationship between the two of them. And one of the best things in the show is nowhere to be seen in the film. It's Lydia and Beetlejuice haunting this house together as friends. And it's so much fun. But it's got stuff that you love from the film. It's got the dinner party scene. You've got the shrunken head man. You've got sandworms, live sandworms, very hard to wrangle. But the show takes all of these concepts and jumps off in different directions. The characters are recognizable, but they're also really fresh takes on them. But the feeling that it conjures really is that feeling that you get when you watch the film, which is one of my favorite films.
I mean, it's a classic, and I can only imagine that the music is going to be fantastic.
Oh, Eddie Perfect is an unbelievable composer. Literally, his name is Eddie Perfect. And it suits him because it is just earworm after earworm after earworm. And by the way, I've been doing this show now for years on and off, from the out-of-town tryout to Broadway to this. And I'm still not sick of the songs. The songs are still bangers, just top to bottom.
And it's going to be a high-energy, colorful performance.
That is absolutely accurate. And I can tell you right now, I'm deeply grateful that I'm not one of the heavy dancers in the show, because the stuff that they have to do is insane. It's incredible. But yeah, as you say, very colorful, very energetic. It's a show that a teen or a tween can enjoy, but which is still very funny and very bawdy and very freaky and enjoyable for people of all ages. I'm 43 years old and I think it's hilarious.
That's awesome. And I'm a 14-year-old in a 49-year-old body, and we are going on Tuesday.
The show is for you, dude.
Right? I mean, I'm a man child, and I can't wait. We're going on Tuesday, and
immature laughs about mature subject matter. That's what we've got.
When it says for mature audiences only, I'm saying, well, that's not for me. Apparently,
there it is.
That is not for me. Well, we will see you in Providence next week. ppacri.org for tickets and information. And Abe, it's been a pleasure, man.
Absolutely. Same here, man. Thanks for talking.